hate to be the one to say it, but after a little while this dungeon's been out, it's kinda easy, and I'll show you what I mean. So here we are in Abyssal Void, Nightmare, non-hardcore. And if you remember in Yokai Peak, drop rates were low, and being able to solo the dungeon took a lot of power. Now, here in Abyssal Voids, drop rates are very high. With the second game of Nightmare I played, I already had Grave Voidborn. And people are dropping the ultimates, the legendary spells only have a 5% drop chance. I already got 2 of them. And legendaries and blue Voidborn and every other game you're getting something. Now, with that, it's okay. It makes it easier. But the values on armors are also really messed up. Tell me how this green helmet is already better than a blue and is borderline purple level, if not. And this is 543. Tell me, how is that range fair? I've seen someone in the Discord that had this at 553. It was a blue Voidborn Mage Helmet 553 unupgraded. This was 555 unupgraded as a green. Now, this is a nightmare level dungeon here. I'm only rocking this. I can already one cycle mobs on Glass Cannon. Glass Cannon puts me at about 4.6 billion health. Obviously, I have a little bit of points and skills right now, just so I can survive more than one attack. But let me show you here. Boom. Load it up. Attack. Now, most are going to die. Obviously, if I drop all my points in the spell power, I'll be able to completely one cycle. But I think it's more worth it to be able to survive an attack or two. But this dungeon is already proving itself to be pretty easy after the release. Obviously, with the Yokai Peak gear running straight to insane, it was pretty difficult, I'm not gonna lie. Everyone was having problems with it, some picked up faster than others. If you were there during my live stream, you saw how much trouble we were having with it. But once you start getting items, the dungeon becomes exponentially easier. Now, if you're an insane right now, and you want to get nightmare items, but you can't get no raid, let me tell you what I did. I had insane gear, and I was stuck, because I wanted to get nightmare gear, but I didn't really have any requirements to join any raids. Now, if you're looking, and you can't join any raids as a healer, then what you're going to want to do is go into a public lobby, and join some public games. Now, don't be stupid and be a burden. Join one, see if you can be a healer. If you can't, just go as damage. Even if they kick you, you still can get some rewards out of that one game. I was lucky, joined a game, won one nightmare game, and got a new mage weapon and a mage spell, which instantly made me be able to solo the insane one. Just that little luck right there. You know, if you can just get one game in, get some items, and you'll probably be able to trade. I got a gray mage weapon and the warrior spell, like the avalanche one, the mighty cleave, and I swapped it for the abyssal spears or whatever they are, the ones I'm using right now. And just that alone was able to boost me enough to be able to solo insane. And once you can solo insane, you know, get your armors up, get your weapons, and you know, luckily try to join some more raids and get some nightmare wins in, and because you're probably going to drop Voidborn. I'm going to be honest, the drop rate for, like I said earlier, it's extremely high. People, like, if you look in the Discord images chat, people are just dropping Voidborn and legendaries and ultimates like they're commons almost. And you're going to see that for yourself when you're dropping legendary spells pretty often here. I mean, those are at a 5% chance by themselves. So it's, you know, nothing really high. I've already dropped 2, and my luck is pretty bad. I remember in Yokai Peak, it took me absolutely ages to get any sort of really good gear and stuff. But this dungeon, it just kind of took me a day. Not even. Kind of playing here and there. So yeah, let me meet you when I'm at T. Okay, here we are at the room of 14. I just want to talk about a few points. I want to make the note that I do not like this dungeon. I really don't. And I feel like there's so many things that are just wrong about it. Like, there's just so many messed up gameplay aspects, and I'm going to get into it. First things first, This dungeon is just filled with spammy mobs that all have different types of attacks. There's like 6 different types of mobs in a room, and they throw in over a dozen of them, and it's just a mess of filling the floor with red. And I feel like that's just such an annoying way of going around making a dungeon. You just fill the room with red and all this cluttered shit, honestly. Like, why? And then they all have the audacity to throw in mobs that can pull you. If you're going to make a dungeon that's solely based around dodging mass amounts of spam, why make an enemy that has the ability to pull you into the center of it against your will? That defeats the point of the massive heavy spam. I don't understand it. Second of all, when this game came out, or the dungeon came out, the game testers were adamant that they tested a bunch of all different types, and it's an easy dungeon, it's just high skill ceiling. And I get that. But why, if you've tested it so much, do the spells be so buggy? If you look at the freaking, show you here. If you look at this spell right here, the Void Flames, half the time you use it, it doesn't even work. Why? If you tested the game at all, you would see this. Why does it not work? So now we're being forced to use freaking old spells because this one doesn't work at all like it should. And that's just, it's so annoying. How are you going to claim that you've tested the dungeon so much and then have such a basic component like a spell not even work half the time? And I personally am a fan of big, bright dungeons that are fun to look at. And this is the opposite. It gives me Ghastly Harbor vibes, and I hate Ghastly Harbor for the reason that not only is it just a crappy designed long dungeon that's just dreary and gray, but if you look at this, it's just dark and it's annoying in all forms and aspects. There's invisible walls that are crappily placed everywhere, and it's just not fun to look at. It's just a cluttered mess of darkness. And I don't like it. I do not like this dungeon at all. It's easy. Another thing I have a problem with is that I feel like the assigned rarity for a lot of things in this dungeon are just messed up. For example, why am I getting 3 spells in a drop pool when they're epic rarity? They're supposed to be epic rarity. Items that are epic, hard to get, rare for their class. Why am I dropping multiple of them in a game? They're supposed to be hard to get. I don't want multiple spells. I want gear. So don't make them epic if they're going to be the same drop chance as a common. I don't get it. I do not like it. And second thing, alongside spells, is the legendary spells. Why make a legendary item have a 5% drop chance? This is not Desert Temple or Winter Outpost. Do not make a legendary tier item have such a high drop chance. I don't like it. I want rare items to be rare. That's the whole point of them having value as a rare item in the first place. So I don't understand, you getting these high drop items. And aside from their movement ability, they're not even that good. I was back when I was an insane and I got the warp spell. It would do 80 Q with the EIF on one cycle of it. But if I switched to Void Flames, if I got it to work, I would do like 100 Q. So they're not even like better than their counterparts. So they're just common things that are the placeholder of a legendary. I don't like it at all. I feel like that's all messed up. I'm going to try the bonus boss here. I failed the last one, but I have more health now. So that I just have a lot of problems with this dungeon. I just don't like it at all. I feel like it's not fun. It's boring. It doesn't really change the core aspects of what needs to change for I feel like Dungeon Quest to get its flame back. Now I'm gonna talk about what I do like about the dungeon, and that is the taunt spell. I think it's a really unique take on the taunt spell. It's something new. It brings an air to a class that we didn't have before. It was just a crappy class that no one used. And now it actually has a worth. And the spell is good. It's really good. And I love it. I don't know if you've seen it or not. It literally lets you taunt all the enemies and eats the damage and brings it back. And I feel like that's amazing. I like the teleport abilities of the spells. I feel like it adds new movement to let you actually dodge without having to rely on inner or focus or rage. Now, aside from the lower damage of the legendary spells, they are good. The teleport ability lets you dodge T better if you're having problems with that. It lets you dodge a lot more attacks. But that's the only things that I really like about this dungeon that are actually changed from normal dungeon quest. I feel like there's so much more they could do with this game, and they're running with the same run-of-the-mill stuff. Like, why not add like some sort of new ultimate ability that can charge up over the course of a dungeon and does 3, 4 times the amount of damage it normally would do? I feel like that'd be a cool element. Or combo attacks or something. Something different from this spammy, crappy mess. It's monotonous, really. It really is. Well, that's it for this one. I just wanted to make it really. I completed the dungeon, didn't do the bonus boss, but better to do a group for that. But yeah, just with this lame gear set of gray and green, I already am. I literally just put this together in a couple hours. Already am one cycling, so yeah, this dungeon is easy. I don't like it. Stay cool out there, guys. See ya.